Good morning, traders. Today is Tuesday, August 5th. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. All right. So essentially what happened yesterday was the market had a massive sell-off in the morning and then just rotated at lower prices, creating a B-shaped profile. But interestingly, it kept the trend in the value areas, continuing lower with a third day in the row overlapping to lower. And so that's a signal that the market is either ready to go further down or sideways at this point. And so when I come into the day, that's the first thing on my mind. It's like, is the market more inclined to go sideways or further down today? And it looks like with the way the overnight traded, we might be set up to just have a sideways moving day. So I'm going to make the argument for that first here, which is that, this node of volume and time that the overnight put in on the night of the 30th, okay? That was very interesting in the fact that the next day we found support there, and then even yesterday in that same area is where the market was finding support all day long. Now the overnight, they dipped down into there. Let me just expand out this profile. They dipped down into this one more time and then instantly found support to start trading their way higher. Okay, so what we're basically doing is we're building both volume and time slowly higher with each session here. Do you see that? So that's, you've got the signal of the value areas being overlapping to lower, but then you're starting to see time and volume building slightly higher. So this means that this could potentially be a low in here. And that if the market can create support out of this node from yesterday in today's market, so the market opens, trades down in here, finds support somewhere in here, and then continues higher, that could be very bullish. But here's the counter argument. If not, if the market opens this morning, we start to get the chop, which we're expecting because we're inside the previous day's range. It comes down and it pushes through all of this support here, and this support here. That is extremely bearish for further downside continuation. Okay? So how the market reacts when it gets into these nodes of volume this morning, that will be very telling for what kind of day we're likely to have. And of course, door number 3 is always there, which is the market might open and immediately start to trade higher. In which case, the first resistance to the upside is going to be the base of the single prints down from yesterday. So right here at 43.26, okay? And then yesterday's high as well. If the market gets to either of those levels, pushes through, comes back down and finds support, it's a good trade for continuation up to the next. And then same thing on yesterday's high. Good for continuation. But that seems the least probable scenario for today. Market opens in 1 minute. Uno momento. Getting ready for that chop, looking for support once again. Probably starting right about at the bottom of the single prints. So I would say like 42.95-ish in this area is where we should start to get the support if this is going to hold up and we're going to get continuation higher this morning. There's the opening bell. And we're off to some early morning chop. Internals opening bullish, but pulling back right away. Oh, counter auction is net long. So counter auction to the downside is to be expected. Forgot to mention that. Sorry, the overnight inventory is net long, so the counter auction to the downside is expected. And like I said, we're looking for support in these nodes of volume and time from yesterday and from the overnight. Good morning, Chris. Good to see you. Welcome. Man, Kala, please don't call me the deer leader. But good morning to you. Arkaleon, good to see you. Naif is back with us. Good morning. Ronald is here. Good to see you. Shubaho Deep, good morning to you. Amir is here. Good to see you. Good morning, my friend. Tom is here. Okay, so if they go for door number 3 and they start pushing higher this morning, like I said, there's a lot of resistance above. This node, and this node, plus the base of the single prints here, this is a lot for the market to work its way through. So I wouldn't be ready to go long into this unless we got above the base of those single prints, came back down and found support. Then I would look for a continuation. Otherwise, any push up into here is likely to get pulled right back down until they bring in this support. Good morning, Arthur. Good to see you. Noto Cactus back with us. Good morning. Arcaleon liked that new bar. There you go. Naif, I wish this ship had a bar. We should do a drunk overnight session one night. Drinking and trading. Live. Donkey, good morning to you. Welcome. Jose is here. JG is GM. Good morning to you. Cotton Dog. I note the double distribution overnight seems to line up with Thursday and Friday's value areas. 25 to 95. A value area gap, no man's land. Yeah, that's not how I see it. Because Friday's value is overlapping that whole area. Brian, good morning to you. All right, the market beginning to push higher here. Finding resistance right at the overnight high. That is weak hand sellers right there. Good morning, Philip. Good to see you. Vincent is here. Good morning. Miles, woo! TV, good morning to you. Donkey, you did that the other night, drinking and trading? How'd the profits turn out? As long as it was fun. Asif, good morning to you. All right, another push up that failed, bringing us back down, looking for those buyers. As I've said, I think we start to come in contact with those buyers in this node from the overnight. Getting a bit of a liquidation into it. So if this area can hold, it would be bullish for me. But as I said this morning, if it breaks, that becomes very bearish. Once these weak references are repaired, if the market continues lower from there, that would be extremely bearish for a continuation of the downtrend in value. $111 watching, 40 likes. Let's smash that like button. Brings you good luck 70% of the time. It works every time. Oh, Shubo Deep, yeah. Well, you guys would just, I mean, I guess you just have to play along. You'd have to just trade drunk that day. Nick, good morning to you. Welcome. C. Marshall back with us. Good to see you. Freddie is here. Good morning to you. Philip, there were profits? Question mark. Not sure what that means. Oh, you're talking about Donkey. Yeah, sorry, friend from Belarus. I'm getting too many of those names that I can't read. Now I can't tell who's who. All right, the Chop Fest continues this morning. Churn 'em and burn 'em. Don't love the low here. Only 4 contracts at the low. Nicholas, good morning to you. Welcome. G'day, Jonathan. Yeah, dude. Bitcoin back above 50K. Next up, the moon. So if you're wondering, Charles, if you don't like the low, if you think the market needs to head back down there and do some more business on that low because there's only 4 contracts, and you see it pushing into resistance up here, why not just short it real quick? It's a couple of points, some nice money on the way back down. Well, that's because the market is just doing its morning chop right now. It hasn't picked a direction yet. There's no leadership in the market. So taking a trade right now, even if I'm confident, is still kind of just a gamble. And so I want to wait until I know I have the probabilities on my favor. So I'll wait till the market pushes back down here and then see if it's bringing in support. Look for a long trade from down here rather than the short to get there, as the probabilities it could go either way. The high is also weak because it's 1 tick away from the overnight high. That is correct. So the market's just still figuring itself out. Hasn't made a decision. Who's in charge? The bulls or the bears? Who's going to be right today? They don't know yet. Andrew asks, how do you distinguish leadership? Yeah, so the idea is just, leadership's just a term. You could call it anything you want to call it. But the idea is just, at any given moment, the market can do 3 things. It can go up, down, or sideways. And it goes up when more people expect it to go up. It goes down when more people expect it to go down. And it goes sideways when they can't decide. When half the people think it's going to go up and half think it's going to go down. So what I'm looking at all day when I'm watching the markets, including right now, is trying to figure out who's going to win today. Are there more people who think it's going to go up, meaning there's more buyers in the market? Or are there more people that think it's going to go down? And so I can tell what they're going to do. Right now in the chop, I don't know because it's random. But I'll be able to tell by how they react to getting into here. And then if that fails, the next lower one down here, I'll be able to tell, are there more buyers? Are there more sellers? So pushing through this would be a sign that sellers are piling on to get us down to the next one. But finding support here would mean there are more buyers than sellers because they were able to hold up the market. So if the market trades down to here, finds support, and starts trading higher, I can go long with those buyers. So at that point, I would say the bulls are leading the market. But until I get that signal, I don't really know who's in charge. So I just let the short-term traders pick each other's pockets. So far, so good with the bulls. They seem to buy up every push lower. That's 2 chances now the market had to take it lower, and they didn't. So there's a point for the bulls right there. Next, potential point is, can they turn this that was resistance? Earlier when we tried to push up through there, we couldn't get through these red nodes, and then we got shoved back down. But now we got through them. Will they act as support? Will they hold up the market? That would be the next bullish thing to see. Shalom, correct. This is what Jim Dalton would describe as a lack of confidence. They're starting to build it, though. Like I said, I'm always looking for who's winning, the bulls or the bears, who's taking charge. And so far, the bulls are holding this up as support. So can they keep it as support? Then they break through the high here, which is weak hands anyway, so squeeze those traders. And then get continuation. The first step is continuing to find support right in this node. Trading donkey. Apparently cessation of NQ in 8 ticks. What? I don't really know what that means. But the NQ looks good. Once again, much tighter range than the ES, but looks bullish. I don't, apparently. No, mine's in 2 ticks. Okay, so the bulls are starting to take charge here. Now we watch how they react to the resistance above. As I mentioned before, you got this node here. Then you got the base of the single prints. That is always resistance when the market pushes back up to backfill those single prints. There's almost always some resistance at the base. And then you got this node of volume just above it here. So how strong are these bulls? Well, so far not very, making another poor high. But, you know, when they push up in here, how do they handle this resistance? Can they just coast right through? When they come back down, does the resistance become support? That's what I'm looking for to start entering trades. Probably above the base of this spike here. All right, so I'm front running this a little bit with my bullishness. But I am feeling it in a when what should happen didn't. I would have expected the market needed to push down into this area down here a little bit more to bring in the buyers, but they didn't. And so that's slightly bullish to see right there. Value today is completely higher than yesterday, so that's slightly bullish to see right there. We pushed through the first node of resistance, made it support, so that's slightly bullish right there. And now we're cutting through the first set of resistance pretty easily, so that is also bullish. So like I said, I'm not going to buy it long until it pulls back down and shows me clear support. But I am starting to feel that bullish feeling. And remembering there's major resistance up here at the base of these single prints. On the question of the week low, yeah, we have 3 week lows around 76. Left behind from yesterday. Repaired in the overnight, but it doesn't count unless they do it during regular trading hours. Okay, so through the first set of resistance pretty easily. Looking for resistance up here at the base of the single prints down, 32.26. Knife. I love it. We're rich in friendship. Yeah. And that's the only wealth that matters. All right, so now the next test of the bulls is making new support. Can they build up some support here for another push higher? We want to see them stay at least above this area just below the halfback here. Pulling back down below that would be bearish. All right, so with the printing of the B period, we pulled the POC a little bit higher and the value area, both of which is bullish. All right, so the market's just starting to push its way up into this resistance. Remember, the backfilling of the single prints left behind from yesterday, that's a high probability thing. But once that's done, that's like a magnet that's pulling price higher. Once that's done, that magnet turns off. So new buyers have to step in at this higher level to keep this momentum going to the upside. That is what I was describing earlier with the push above that finds support. Boom, finds support. So we did it with this node over here. We pushed through, came back down, found support, and then got our next push higher. Will that happen again here at the base of the single prints? Currently, it's a poor high. Okay, so the poor high and the single prints are repaired. Jeez, I look away from the chat for a minute. What is happening? Uh, Naif, you haven't heard of a Bloomberg terminal? Oh, you're in for a treat. That's the Ferrari of technical analysis tools. A quick Google will be an enjoyable experience for you. Fun factoid, I first learned about it from the TV show Newsroom. Naif, I think you just came up with like a perfect quote for Wall Street in general. I imagine it's like an arcade machine in a business suit. You got it. Was I talking and the mic wasn't on? Sorry, guys. So was that the pullback and test? It was. That was a pullback and test, although I think we'll pull back into there again. But yeah, that was the first one. It tried to get up into the resistance, and then it pulled back down. It had to bring in a bit of volume to build it up, but then it broke right through. So that was the back test and support for continuation higher. So we essentially want the market to just keep doing this all day long. Build support, push higher, come back down, build support, push higher, come back down, build support, push higher. That's what a trend day looks like. So this is how they start. Almost feels a bit like a gap and go day, even though we're still inside yesterday's range. Kind of has that vibe to it. comes back down, I buy the support. Pushes higher, comes back down, I buy the support. So on and so forth. Buy the support. Traders will do what works until it doesn't. So as long as the market continues to trend higher, I will continue to buy dips and sell rallies. And your stop, well, stops are different depending on trade by trade. The way I've taken a couple trades this morning. I've done is as soon as the support gets bought and the market pushes higher, I move my stop up to break even, and then put my next take profit there. And as soon as that fills, I then put a new order in for the next pullback. But if this continues into the C period, I'll just stay in a long trade as long as I can. This has all the makings of a trending higher day. Value is higher than yesterday. We're trending up in terms of the way the market is moving, tempo, volume. Internals look strong. So looking to buy the next support. And if they can keep one time framing into the C period, stay with the trade as long as I can. See how far they can push it. I see what you mean with opening in the gap. But then there's no gaps in distributions. Okay, yeah, I guess you're above the previous day's range. So you would use the base of the spike as the next day's range. So we would have actually still been in the previous day's range. But it certainly feels like a gap and go, at least emotionally, I mean, amongst the traders. Not only are they FOMOing, but they also are confidently buying. Did the value area just move down? Yes, it did. It got pulled a little bit lower. Still higher than yesterday, so it's still sending the same exact signal. Okay, so once again, the market bringing in support here. Trading donkey. Forget what he said, Salmon River. I think you're beautiful on the inside and the outside, no matter how much sleep you get. And I believe your girlfriend's a real person. All right, so they brought in the support. Now they're getting the next push higher. The trend remains intact. James says 100 MA. Is that the daily? Oh, yeah, we just poked above it. Excellent observation. Thank you for pointing that out. Also, stepping back to the daily gives us a target of what a trend day higher today could look like, right? The market could continue to press up, trying to test that 20 moving average as resistance to the upside. Too early to say, but not impossible. Does the high from yesterday act as a magnet? No, it does not. It was a good high, so it would only be if it was a poor high. Would it act as a magnet? But no. It does act as potential support resistance there, but it doesn't have any effect until the market gets to it. Ticks are starting to get on the nicey. They're starting to head up there towards overbought territory. So they might need to let this cool off a bit and bring in the buyers. Getting a bit FOMO-y here. Shubaho deep. Now, see, I've never heard a better idea than that. Some more likes for the gentleman that Charles is. Yes, please, some likes for the gentleman. All day long, he says, look at the support and the push higher. Give the man a thumbs up, eh? And some more likes if he does it in Russian accent. Thank you, John. Appreciate that. Gives the man his money. Preach it, Amgossel. You tell them. It's insane how many single prints we've created in this area now that I'm thinking about it. Because I was just thinking as the C period prints here in a minute, we're going to leave all these single prints behind. And I was about to say, look what happened yesterday when we left single prints behind. We came back today and backfilled them. But the same thing was true of the previous day. We left all those single prints behind and came back the next day and backfilled them. So this market is very emotional down here. Kim, thank you so much for stopping by. Appreciate you. Enjoy your coffee and cake. That sounds good. All right, guys. Well, as guessed here, the C period left behind a huge wake of single prints from the B period. but it also continued the one time framing higher. So the trend remains intact. This is the push above yesterday's high that I was looking for. I ended up entering trades earlier in the day, but this was the one that if they pull back down from here and find support, is a very, very good buy for continuation to the upside. So you can assume they're going to try to backfill these single prints left behind from the B period. If it finds support before fully backfilling and starts higher, that will be buyable, in my opinion, for continuation to the upside. Thank you guys so much for today. I appreciate you. I appreciate those 82 likes. Tomorrow we'll get it to 100. And if you want to continue with the stream, there's a link in the description. You can join the Brigade. It only costs $10 a month, and you get to keep watching for the rest of the day. If not, we will see you here tomorrow morning. Thanks so very much, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Shuba Deep, if the single prints don't backfill, it's utterly bullish. Yes. So there's high probability that those single prints want to backfill, and the market to look for support down here at the base. So if they do that, that is not bearish. That the market can still be bullish and pull all the way back down here, as long as it finds support here and it continues one time framing higher. But if it were to try to pull back down there and it can't backfill, it only gets down to say here and it finds support and starts trading higher. That is even more bullish as a when what should happen doesn't. The rest of these should have backfilled, and if they didn't, that tells you something, right? That the bulls are taking charge right here at this level. But let's wait and see how much of a pullback they need. Lots of single prints there. Thank you, guys. We shall see you in the Brigade room in a moment.